Thank you for staying with us. It's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on the front page of Nigerian newspapers, and I begin with the Punch newspaper. The major story here, minimum wage talks. Labour considers 100,000 naira as Tinubu issues ultimatum. Labour considers 100,000 naira as Tinubu issues ultimatum. And the rider there says, President orders minister to calculate cost. Labour gives 1 week ultimatum. 1 killed, 50 miners trapped as pit collapses in Niger. And that's the picture there depicting the incident that happened in Niger State. Now to stories at the downstrip. CNG will reduce petrol imports by $4.4 billion. That's what the federal government is saying. Police hunt for tenant as landlord dies during rent face-off. PSC unveils 10,000 recruits, drops 61,092 applicants. Another story here quickly. Sell crude to Dangote refinery, federal government directs IOCs. Naira may settle at $1,450 to $1 by December as Fitch ratings. All right, those are some of the stories you find on the front page of the Punch newspaper. We move to the front page of the Daily Trust now, still talking about the minimum wage. Labour vows to reject little addition to 60,000 naira. Why we relax strike for 1 week? NLC President gets me cost implication in 48 hours. Tinubu orders Edu. Those are some of the stories you find on the front page of the Daily Trust. To the Daily Times. NLC TVC industrial action. Finance Minister to present template for minimum wage today as Labour suspends strike. The rider there says we won't accept paltry increase on 60,000 naira. Labour insists. Northwest's notorious serial kidnapper Ajaero, others nabbed. And at the downstrip here, Tinubu names arterial road 20 after Wole Soyinka in FCT. Senate slams Labour over national grid shutdown, disruption of Hajj flights. INEC extends registration of voters in Edo, Ondo. And those are some of the stories you find on the front page of the Daily Times. To the Blueprint newspaper, for the government to save $4.4 billion petrol imports yearly from CNG usage. That's the PCNGI, that's the Presidential Committee on the use of natural gas, their initiative there. Then we have 70 to 80% of NCDC funding from development partners, DG, will adhere to federal government's decision on state police. The Inspector General is saying that. Recall that he had said that he wasn't in support of the introduction of state police. Now, the top corner there, submit cost of minimum wage in 48 hours. Tinubu orders Edu. Senate pledges speedy passage of income bill. Why we relaxed nationwide shutdown NLC TUC. To the Nation newspaper, the major story there says Edu to present new wage template. The Nation newspaper. At the top corner, strike, House of Reps attacks, Labour, grid shutdown, criminal. 1 million CNG buses will cut 50 million litre petrol use by 20%. Government to save $4.4 billion yearly. All right, some of the stories you find on the front page of the Nation newspaper. Now to the Daily News Hub. So talking about the new minimum wage, Tinubu moves to beat Labour's 5-day ultimatum. The riders there expedites action, gives Finance Minister 48 hours to present template as federal government negotiating team meets him, seeks presidential approval to pay above 60,000 naira. We won't accept little addition to 60,000 naira, Labour wants. And another story here. Minimum wage. Nigeria's productivity level can't support 400,000 naira. I recommend 100,000. Mohalu is saying. 1 killed, 30 trapped in Niger mine collapse. Some of the stories you find on the front page of the Daily News Hub. To the Nigerian News Direct now, still talking minimum wage. Tinubu orders Finance Minister to present cost implications in 48 hours as Senate prepares to fast-track bill. Strike not suspended, only relaxed for 1 week. That's what the NLC is saying. NLC President says. Airline operators resume operations. National grid restored. Cybersecurity Act. Stop persecuting journalists doing their job. Editors to police. And the Nigerian Content Fund to undergo review for improved efficiency. NCDMB is saying. Some stories there on the front page of the Nigerian News Direct. And to the New Telegraph, labor strike, Nigeria lost 3 trillion naira first day of action, says OPS. That's organized private sector. Once key economic sectors will experience instability as labor relaxes nationwide strike for 1 week. Senate berates labor for national grid shutdown, Hajj flight disruption, plans legislation to stop reoccurrence. Right. And insecurity, bandits kidnap 30 villagers in Niger. And how airlines lost 50% of trapped funds to currency devaluation. African carriers was hit, says IATA. All right, Heritage Bank, CBN confirms 460 billion naira payment to First Bank. Some stories there on the front page of the New Telegraph and to the Vanguard newspaper. Now, minimum wage gave costs to government today. Tinubu orders Finance Minister. These are some of the stories you find on the front page of the Vanguard. Lamide.
I begin here with the leadership newspaper. On the minimum wage, President Tinubu demands realistic proposal in 48 hours, 6 cost implications, sustainability details, labor defense suspension of strike for 1 week. And also trending here, 83-year-old woman arraigned for trafficking. And on the top right, CBN clears trapped $831 million foreign airline funds. These are some of the stories making the front page of the leadership. I move to Daily Independence. President Tinubu asks Ajaero to present new minimum wage figures in 48 hours, wants a realistic, affordable, acceptable pay for workers. Nigeria loses over $100 million annually to fish export lull. Trawl owners lament high price of diesel, say over 40 to 45% of vessels idle. Former President Goodluck Jonathan says politicians won't approach the court if judiciary is upright. On insecurity, difficult terrain impeding rescue of 30 trapped miners. That's according to the Niger State government. And on the top left, Nigeria ranked below Benin, Sierra Leone orders in Open Budget Survey Global Index. Senate to enact laws against National Grid airport shutdown, accuses unionists of economic sabotage, disruption of Hajj flights. The major stories on the front page of Daily Independence. And on the first newspaper, Base for Workers, Senate pledges expedited minimum wage bill passage. Once again, President Tinubu tasked the Finance Minister to present a new wage figure in 2 days as Labour suspends nationwide strike to secure fair wage negotiations with the federal government. Naira depreciates by 0.05% against dollar at the official market. President Tinubu names Abuja Highway after Wole Soyinka. And back to the minimum wage. National Grid restored after strike suspension. Flight operations resume at Lagos Airport. Orders. Second Niger Bridge vandalism. Umahi condemns act, labels it ruthless sabotage. Fubara declares end to political crisis in Rivers State. The story is making the front page of First News. We move to Salient Times. Compile figures, get back to me immediately. President Tinubu orders the finance minister once again wants negotiations to be concluded soon. And to Ogun State Governor Abiodun appoint aviation consultant ahead of Ogun airport operation. Labour vows to reject meagre addition to 60,000 naira as minimum wage. And on the lower strip, domestic airlines resume operations after suspension of NLC strike. TCN complete repair of vandalized transmission line in the northeast. 1 year in office, APC scores Fubara 0. And Deputy Commissioner of Police slums dies at the force headquarters. The stories are making the front page of the Salient Times. I move to This Nigeria. Thank you for giving my government successful first-year landing. President Tinubu comments the FCT minister in some week. He names FCT Highway after Wole Soyinka. And on the top right, federal government Labour adopt agenda. President Tinubu direct Minister Edun to provide a template. On police recruitment, PSA releases list of 10,000 successful applicants. The story is making the front page of This Nigeria. On the Platform Times, 176 terrorists surrender, 57 arrested in Lake Chad, according to the MNJTF. Labour insists President Tinubu's government must reverse electricity tariff hike. On the top left, no plans to withdraw licenses of 3 banks, says the Central Bank of Nigeria, reacting to the suspension of license of Heritage Bank. And Oyo ranks highest in Southwest State for out-of-school children. President Tinubu names Abuja Highway after Wole Soyinka. 2,000 Bagura residents receive free medical care in King's Remembrance. And once again, Deputy Commissioner of Police slums dies in Abuja office. The story is making the front page of the Platform Times. I turn to The Guardian. How illegal mining, deforestation orders leave Nigerians poorer. That's on the World Environmental Day on page 6 of the newspaper. NGE condemns increasing spate of journalist abduction. Osun APC expels Aregbesola, wants members against associating with the ex-governor's group. And bandits abduct varsity lecturer's family in Katsina. IGP warns senior officers against extorting personnel over promotional interview. INEC extends CVR exercise, captures 120,458 new voters in Edo, Ondo State. To the Nature News, on the World Environment Day, CAMEC orders advocate tree planting to promote biodiversity ecosystem. The Nature News is holding a web space on this. WaterAid supports Nigerian government on menstrual hygiene and wash policies. Kogi Assembly Speaker backs state government on flood erosion control. Insecurity hampers rescue of 30 miners trapped in Niger. And UN Climate Change Board urges nations to deploy bold actions. The major stories on the front page of the Nature News. And how Nigeria's economy can be more productive. That's on the front page of the Business Times. Moalu says Nigeria's productivity level can support 400,000 naira minimum wage. President Tinubu to Finance Minister presents new minimum wage template in 2 days. Respite as Labour suspends nationwide strike for 1 week. And according to the World Bank, Africa needs $6 billion yearly to close connectivity gap. The NDPC here is investigating banks, insurance companies over data breach. And according to a cybersecurity expert, cybersecurity skills shortage biggest risk to MSPs. The story is making the front page of the Business Times. I move to Business Day. All investors wrestle 20 agencies in dollar-staffed Nigeria deal with 2 agencies in Namibia, Angola. And foreign airlines come back as the federal government clears trapped funds. Oyedele-led committee proposes 5 executive orders to fast-track reforms. 4 lessons for Nigeria as Vietnam's GDP doubles in a decade. That's on page 30 of the newspaper. And on the minimum wage, once again, President Tinubu meets at the federal government team as committee shelves talks and backs on consultation. Finally, in sports this morning, Man City make Haaland contract decision. Man United, Liverpool monitor inertia as Arsenal open to selling unhappy Zinchenko. To play for Nigeria is an honor and the best decision I ever made, Ademola Lookman Ross. And Amokachi rejects Eagles' job, shuns team's camp in Uyo. And on the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifier, Eagle camp swells with 20 players as Bassi others arrive. The story is making the front page of Sporting Life.
Right. We believe that our viewers have been updated such that they can pick any paper of their choice for more details. Coming up on TVC Breakfast, with over 30 million persons with disabilities in the country, how many are involved?